Hi, I'm Hilda Ryan, and I'd like to spend a couple of minutes talking about teaching style. When students begin to play the earliest original works, like this Mozart piece, I'm concerned with them playing counterpoint, articulation, and phrasing well. I will refer to this as a Mozart piece, but that's all. When they advance to the sonatina level, at that point, I begin to talk about style. I write down in their assignment book the style periods, dates, 3 important composers for piano literature, and ask them to memorize that. Then going forward in their assignment book, I have theory here, and then I have, Baroque, classical, romantic. There isn't any contemporary in this week. And then here are the abbreviations for the composers. So then I will begin to call for the Mozart on page 78, so that they think in terms of this. And I will say, well, now how much retard are we allowed to take in this style? So we talk about a retard. That's one of the things. You're allowed just a little bit in Baroque, maybe a beat or two at the end of a piece even, and less in the middle. Classical, you might be allowed a measure's worth of retard and a little bit less in the middle of the piece. Romantic, of course, it doesn't really matter. With pedaling, you're allowed, well, the listener's not supposed to know when you use it in Baroque. So I know it if I use pedal, but you don't know it. In classical, you're allowed a little bit, and I know it, and you, the listener, know it. In romantic, I know it, you know it, and I know you know it. So it doesn't really matter how much pedal you use. The dynamic range is limited for Baroque, a little bit more for classical, and all over the place for romantic. The texture, likewise, is thinner for Baroque, often 2 or 3 voices, and then classical is really not very different. And then romantic, you have a cluster of notes in the right hand and octaves in the left hand. Those things are basic, and I refer back to those principles so that they become familiar with those style differences, so that they can pick up a piece on a Christmas break or 15 years from now and know that when they sit down to sight read a Bach piece, best not take much retard. When they sit down to play a Mozart piece, not much pedal. And if it's romantic, have at it. Do what sounds good to you. I want to teach so that students have ongoing learning skills, lifelong skills that serve them well for the rest of their life.